Good day, welcome to Music Motors and welcome to this, the 2021 Alfa Romeo Stelvio Quadrifoglio, or QV, the Alfa Romeo Stelvio QV. The QV is like the pinnacle of performance when it comes to the Stelvio because it's powered by a 2.9 litre V6. That 2.9 litre V6 produces 510 horsepower, 600 newton meters of torque, has a top speed of 176 miles an hour, and it will get to 62 in 3.8 or faster depending on how many people are in the car, what fuel you're running it on. Now the QV, the Quadrifoglio, is, as I said, right up there, not only in performance but in styling and in absolute just quality. Base prices start at about £73,000, but this one, due to a host of options which I will cover briefly in this video, is more like £79,000 on the road. All of this whilst that 2.9 litre V6 is also potentially able to produce, 29-ish miles to the gallon on a run. So in this episode of Music Motors, I find out all about 2021 Alfa Romeo Stelvio Quadrifoglio, or QV. Stay tuned, and if you enjoy this, please like, subscribe, stick around, comment, tell me what you think of this awesome car. Outside, Alfa Romeo have some very strong styling. They have done for years. Their heritage is that they make beautiful cars, and unlike some competitors in the marketplace, we shall not be naming names, Alfa have stuck true with their heritage and have kept making beautiful cars. The front end of this is striking and bold, yet has nice smooth lines and is so atypically Alfa Romeo. It's just lovely to look at. This one's actually finished in a beautiful Pisano blue paint, which, considering so many of these are in black or red, seeing it in this stunning blue colour, it really it's beautiful to look at. Now those sweeping lines that I've just mentioned at the front are all kind of tied together by that absolutely epic headlight design, which you'll see on the Giulia or Stelvio. To be fair, anything Alfa's made recently has kind of had that design aesthetic. But then those lines run down the side. The side of this is just perfect. Now a standard Stelvio isn't quite as wide and menacing to look at from a side profile as this, but this one gets, the special treatment. It is a QV, which means slightly bigger arches. It means those beautiful long, just stunning lines kind of going the whole way along the side of the car. 20-inch wheels, right? Now, I'm used to saying diamond cut at this point, but Alfa haven't done it, but they are like a 5-spoke design, and they are just finished in the most awesome dark design. The most beautiful wheels that you could possibly want on an SUV, and to their credit, then they're actually pretty protected by the sidewalls, so you're not actually too worried about curbing them every time you go near a curb or a pothole. Finishing on that side profile, it is literally just lines on beautiful lines, and with this beautiful Misano blue paint. Seriously, the outside of this is just beautiful to look at. You get to the back end and it all kind of flows together. Now, funnily enough, the back end is, for me, the bit that feels like it could have had a little bit more of a redesign, because, cool, it is a beautiful design, don't get me wrong, it looks good. But the only thing that makes this really stand out from a standard Stelvio to the normal punter is the quad tailpipes and the fact that they're at a bit of a slant. Aside from that, the back end kind of looks the same, a little bit wider, and obviously you've kind of got those extensions on the arches as well, but for the most part it kind of looks exactly as you would expect a Stelvio to look like, just not as shouty. But then again, it then means that even in a bright colour like Pisano blue, it's a little bit more understated. Fuel economy and a Quadrifoglio don't tend to go hand in hand, but a daily city test does go hand in hand. So for that point, I'm going to drive around city, see how this does from an economy point of view, from a comfort point of view. Is it a good daily? Yeah, I'm expecting it to get under 20, but it's going to sound great while it does it. But how comfortable is it? What's the visibility like? Is it stressful to drive, or is it totally sedate? Let's find out. So kind of unexpectedly, I got 22 to the gallon, so pretty impressive from an economic point of view, economy even. But the big thing was, it's actually very comfortable. It deals with changing road types very well, pretty quiet, visibility is very good. These seats really are comfortable and quite adaptive. And from from a city point of view, you really couldn't ask for more from a car, because this gives you proper comfort, proper driver engagement, even when you're just driving around town. So really you couldn't ask for more, because it's comfortable, visibility is good, there's a good amount of space, it's not difficult to drive, it doesn't tire you out to drive. It's a pretty easy thing to do. So from a city point of view, 22 to the gallon and everything else, pretty impressive. Inside is where Alfa have worked their charm and made their new interiors just a lovely place to be. Where so many competitors are going for everything on a digital display and nothing analog, Alfa have made it so that a lot of your systems are still analog and actually have buttons. Your climate control, for instance, actually has knobs to press and turn. You actually have a button to press for your heated steering wheel and heated seats. Don't get me wrong, the infotainment has quite a lot of control, and especially if you go into the deeper audio controls, because this one's got Harman Kardon audio system, there is a lot in there, but there's enough analog that you don't feel totally disconnected and slightly annoyed when you want to turn something off. Everything is literally at your fingertips. And from the driver's point of view, the seat is very comfortable, very adaptive. This one is electronic, unlike standard. That is an option. It's electronically adjustable, and that makes a big difference. Headroom is pretty good, bolster support's very good, and visibility from the driver's seat is exceptionally good. This might be a big car, but from the driver's seat, it doesn't really feel it. Your passengers have a huge amount of space, even your rear passengers. Really good amount of space. ISOFIX to make this family friendly. And the interior is quiet and comfortable and sedate as you could possibly want, really. The only part of the interior that I feel kind of lets it down a little bit is just the boot space. It's not as big as you quite like for a vehicle of this size, because there's a lot of wheel ingress. Not to say it's bad, not to say it's impractical, because this is a very practical car, and especially if you option in auto open and close tailgate. But it's just not as practical as you kind of hope it would be. The interior just shouts quality, refinement. This one's also got the optional steering wheel, so it's Alcantara and it's flat bottom with a Cloverleaf on it. It really is just a quality place to be. It's not rattling, it's not shaking, it's quiet. The materials are top notch. The infotainment, the technology is all there. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. The sound system, optional. The sound system on this Harman Kardon is seriously good, and it's better than what a lot of manufacturers manage to do with Harman Kardon. And the design of it is lovely. The seat design is lovely and comfortable. The rear seats are actually seriously comfortable, which is quite surprising. So from an everyday point of view, you could drive this day in, day out, and the interior would just be a blissful, lovely place to be. Longer distance fuel economy check. You may recognise where I am. So this is to find out when it is predominantly just motorway, what this can turn around, because they claim 28 point something. So let's see if that's actually achievable. And so I've arrived, and rather surprisingly, averaged 28.7 to the gallon. Now, doesn't sound a lot, but for the type of car this is, that's pretty good. When you then consider the fact that I had a massive detour. I did loads of like urban driving that I wasn't taking into account. I wanted this purely to be extra urban, and that's really more than you could ever consider from one of these. That therefore means that on a run at 65 to 70 miles an hour without traffic, without all the detours, you're going to see over 30 to the gallon in real world. WLTP is pretty accurate saying that it's 28 to 29 to the gallon, because in the real world, that extra urban run with some traffic, it was that. From a 2.9 litre V6, that's pretty impressive, and then it's comfortable on the motorway. It soaks up all those pesky, horrible bits of road really well. The sound system, Harman Kardon's good. The seats are very holding and comfortable, and this is a perfect long-range car. So with that economy and that practicality and capability, it's pretty, like, incredible. Now performance, because no doubt you're watching this and going, come on guy, get to the actual point I'm watching this for. I'm finally there. 2.9 litre V6, turbo V6. Petrol through a ZF8 speed box produces 510 horsepower, 600 newton meters of torque, meaning that this propels itself to 62 in 3.8 seconds, and I timed it faster when I was running it on Shell Nitro Plus. Standard pump fuel doesn't really agree with these too much. And then on top of that, 176 mile an hour top speed. You think, okay, that's brilliant, but can it go around corners? Why, yes it can. In race mode and in normal, like a fun mode, shall we put it, it can do torque vectoring to send like 80% of the power to the back of the car, which means that if anything, this then becomes less of an SUV and more of a drift-happy contender, which just means that this is considerably more engaging. And then when you talk about noise, even in eco, in a normal driving mode, the throttle is still super responsive. The brakes have a wonderful feel, not so much around town, but I'll get to that in a minute. But this doesn't feel wallowy. When I've driven things like a GLE 63 or an X5M, you get to a point, and I kind of found that I then started feeling the weight, but at no point have I felt the weight in this car. When it comes to the tighter back roads, that's where I guess you're going to start noticing it will kind of understeer a little bit, because it is a big SUV. But on normal back roads and less intricate transitions, you really don't ever feel the size of this car. It's beautifully composed no matter kind of how hard you throw it into something, and genuinely, I'm not going to say it's idiot proof, it's not Golf R level idiot proof, but when you make a mistake, even with the traction control off, it's such a wonderfully balanced car. It's just really easy to pull back. Just not really what I was expecting from a car of this nature. It's supposed to be wild, but yet it's kind of tamed at the same time. Economy wise, Alfa claim that you can get up to 28.5 to the gallon, almost 29 miles to the gallon, and on the motorway, totally achievable. If you're lucky and you don't hit traffic like I did and have to do loads of cross-country horrible driving, you'd see more, because I mean, I got 28.7 on a completely abysmal, horrible run where I had to do lots of cut-throughs, and it would have so easily seen over 30 had I not had to do that. Now at lowest, and I mean this seriously, if you drive this hard, this is a juicy car. You'll see under 10 to the gallon if you drive hard enough, but the smiles per gallon in return are totally worth it. From a drive point of view, sure, it's not totally perfect, but it's a big SUV. But honestly, from the steering feel feedback, the accuracy of the steering that you actually get when you input it in, how responsive the gearbox is either on paddles or on auto, how responsive the throttle is, the brakes have an amazing feel. And the only place the brakes actually don't have an amazing feel is around town, because they are seriously powerful brakes. As a result, it means that you're either on them or off them, which means it can get a little bit jerky and stop traffic. But that's it. Everything else this does so superbly well. Aesthetically then, Alfa have blown everyone kind of out of the water. They always have done for me, because they don't make cars, they make art. They really truly do. It's a piece of art to be driving around. It's beautiful, and in Misano blue, it stands out even more. The inside feels that of a car which is worth even more than of this car anyway, the £79,000 price tag. It feels like it's built like £100,000, because let's be brutally honest, the quality of this to me is genuinely not far off what I expect from Ferrari, and it's £79,000 instead of well over £100,000 new, at least. Interior is just a wonderful, blissful place to be. It's quiet, and you really couldn't ask for more. It is luxurious as you like, and the performance is unparalleled, really. Sure, you know what, G63, GLE 63 even, it's probably a little bit faster, but it doesn't engage you quite as much as this. Same as an X5M. They don't engage you in the same way this does. This has this beautiful driving dynamic, an epic sound which isn't V8, this V6 noise, the rasps, the pops. It's unparalleled, really. I just absolutely love it. But the drive is just truly a sensation which cannot be matched in other cars of this marketplace. No one else quite does it like Alfa. So the 2021 Alfa Romeo Stelvio Quadrifoglio QV, exceptional.